ready. I'm ready to put my scales on my blade. As you can see, I've covered up my blade to prevent any type of epoxy getting on that. I've got my everything laid out the way I want to do it. I've got about 5 minutes total time to do this. I've got my clamps that I've got here laid out to tighten everything up. Hopefully I've got everything laid out to be ready. I've got the epoxy here that I'm going to use. I'm going to mix it up using these small popsicle sticks, as I call them, and lay them out. So I'm going to do this and see how long it takes. And if you'll notice, I don't have any plastic gloves on. You can put plastic gloves on if you want, but what I do is I do it so fast that I've got time to go wash my hands, and I just find that getting it on the plastic gloves or vinyl gloves, it just kind of sticks and I make really more of a mess. So if I can get this done fast, then I can go wash my hands fairly fast. So it doesn't take much to do this. So let's go ahead and start and take the top off of the glue. Press. It doesn't take much to do it. That should be plenty for this knife. Okay, popsicle stick. You need to stir this epoxy together, and once it's together, I've got 5 minutes to do this. And as you can see, I've got this on a piece of vinyl, this old CD case that I've got this on. And anything you mix this up on, you might as well just throw away. And instead of it leaking on my workbench, I've got some old breaking porcelain tiles here that I'm just doing everything on. And it does give off a smell, no doubt about that. Sleeves up a little bit. Okay. The most important thing about this is that you got 5 minutes, you got time. Let's just have everything laid out and everything covered, and have a plan to put this together. Now you will have glue or epoxy that's going to seep from the seams. That's going to happen, and that's why I'm going to do some more sanding once I've got this done. Alright, so what I'm going to do first is that I'm going to apply this first on my blade. I'm going to go to the first hole on the tang, and I'm just doing a thin coat across here. You can see I'm holding this with another popsicle stick here to keep it from going all over the place. That way I don't have to keep it on my hands or get any on my hands if I don't have to. So I've got that basically covered everywhere. Also, what I'm going to do too is put a little bit on the beginning of the handle here, in this area here too, the first hole on my scale. And I'm ready to turn that over. I've got my pin here ready. I'm going to put a little bit on the pin. I'm going to stick the pin through the hole. I've got my other pin ready. More epoxy. Stick this through the hole. That way the epoxy will go through that. Once I've got it through both holes, I'm going to turn it around, line this up, stick my pins through, or start my pins. Okay, the pins are started. More epoxy. Go to that hole there. 5 minutes seems like a short time, but it's not really. First time I did this, I made a very big mess, and it's not pretty. Looks like a mess right now, but believe you me, this is a lot better than I've done before. All right. Now what I want to do is again put a little bit on this part of my scale to make sure I've got it covered from there up to the first hole of my pin. And again, some of this is going to seep. Line my holes up. Press it to get it started. Now these are going to be kind of cantankerous, so I'm prepared for that too. I've got a little hammer here that I'm just going to, I know it's started, so I'm just going to go through with this. Going to start it and get it through. Turn it around. Get it through both sides. See, I got plenty to cut off when I'm ready. Now I've got just a little bit of glue here. Kind of get it on my finger and put on my there. Okay. Get my clamps. I've got one big clamp that I use for the center. And I'm going to put it here. I'm taking a look to make sure that I'm not touching any of the pins. And I'm not. I'm clamping that on. So I've got that clamped. So I've got that one done. I've got some smaller clamps that I'm going to do the front and the back. I just found out that I just find that it helps it seal a little bit better. And these are all plastic, so I'm not really hurting any of the wood. Tighten it up. Got room. Still got plenty of time. Gonna do the back here. Adjustable. Whoop. Tighten it up. Okay, and I'm just going to make sure that I'm not hitting any pin. The pins are nice. They're through there. I've got everything fairly clamped. I don't see any major spaces between I don't see any spaces between the tang and the scales. Looks all right on the top. You can see the epoxy oozing out. It's just going to ooze out. You can't help that. Some more epoxy here. It looks good to me. So maybe tighten this up just a hair more. A little bit more tighten. A little more tighten here. So that's ready to set. So I'm going to put it kind of over here and set it to the side. You can kind of see where I've got it set there. To the side there, and I will leave that there for about half an hour in that state, and I'll take it off and go ahead and take these off, get it ready to cut the pins, sand off the handles, and start finishing the knife off. Now I am making another knife here, as you've seen, so this is what this will look like when I'm done. So you know, I've still got some little epoxy, as you can see here. The pins are sticking out, epoxy on top. These are sealed pretty good. The seams are, so that's going to be fairly nice. So what I'm going to do is cut the pins off here on all sides. Probably cut it off with a Dremel, and again, get my Dremel, sand this off lightly, fine sand it by hand, and we'll go from there. When I do this, I'll definitely come back and make that video. Thanks.